Thank you so much, everyone, coming to the graduation party today. And of course, I'm very, very excited to be here in person. And it's such a milestone. So thank you. And I was just told by someone, Paula, that this was a venue that when Nicole was graduating, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so memory goes back many years. And yeah, exactly. This is such a wonderful venue. So thank you so much. And maybe I should say huge, big congratulations for residents and fellows of 2021. And I am very happy for you. I think this is really, really great, accomplishment. And I was just thinking about, what I'm going to say this year, but this last year, COVID-19, a huge challenge for everyone, right? So I'm really grateful. All of you in this room went through this time together. And residents, fellows, of course, highest clinical care, every day. Sometimes, virtual, sometimes in person. And also engaging in learning. And of course, that's a goal for the training. But also taking some initiatives, despite huge inconvenience. Many people engaged in a professional society activity task force and the department event. And to me, most importantly, you guys actually supported each other, helped each other. It's so wonderful. So thank you so much for doing that. And I also would like to thank program directors, so Nicole, Megan, and Claire, and staff, so Stacy, Annie, and Gina, and also Michael today, and all the fellowship coordinators and the fellowship directors. It's a huge, job to really carry, and thank you so much for helping all the trainees. And I think your dedication basically for education, that makes our program so special, so special. Many people like to come to university. You guys really, thanks to your effort. So thank you so much. And maybe just thinking about graduation. So COVID, I think it's almost over. And the one thing we actually really learned during a COVID pandemic is I feel, and I hope you feel, we are a little more stronger. Whenever those crises happens, I think we became a little more adaptable. I don't know. I hope you feel that way. And of course, ending of the training program, it's a new, it's a beginning of new chapter in your professional career. So I'm really sincerely hoping that you're going to carry on, with your enthusiasm. To be the best radiologist in the world. All right. So thank you so much for coming, and huge congratulations. I'm very, very happy for you. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. So last time we were here, I was graduating, and now, look at me now. Well, I wanted to talk about the graduating class. The senior residents set the tone for the year. And these senior residents have really set the tone of a positive attitude during a tumultuous year. And so we're so grateful for that. They extended to junior residents to promote camaraderie during the pandemic and maintain that sense of community. And so we're very thankful to our senior residents. The relationships that you guys have built over the last 4 years will last a lifetime. You are all very unique and have different strengths, but you found a way to work together to support each other and get through all of this and get through residency unscathed. We also have to thank our faculty. We have amazing faculty educators here. And as a residency program, we're incredibly grateful to all of you faculty who have invested hours and time in teaching our residents, even though it might mean that you work late or you do extra things after hours to put together cases. Thank you so much for your efforts to make these residents well-rounded, competent individuals. Also, the fellows do a lot of teaching. Thank you to all the fellows for teaching our residents, and the staffs and the advanced practitioners and the techs and all the staff that helps make you guys into good people who treat everyone with respect. And thank you to our administrative staff. We wouldn't have an accredited program. Well, we wouldn't be able to maintain an accredited program without Stacy, Annie, and Gina. So tonight we're just excited to celebrate the last 4 years that you guys have had with us as residents and celebrate faculty and fellows.
Okay, so next step, it's just not gonna work.
Just sit down. We got a chair.
We're gonna have each of the fellowship directors come up and talk about their fellowship graduates. And then the order is hopefully on the slides. It's basically gonna be neuroradiology, then body, and then breast, and then interventional radiology. So we'd like to invite, I maybe went out of order. Hopefully that was the right order. Dr. Winiger is gonna come up first to talk about neuroradiology. Where I'm supposed to be.
All right, so we have 5 graduating fellows this year, 3 second years and 2 first years. All of them have been outstanding. They've made my job a lot easier, obviously. Karen wishes she could be here because she kind of considers you guys like her children. So, and like she says, you know, you come as trainees, but you leave as friends and colleagues. So we're losing some friends this year. So first up is Kaylin Riley. There he is. So Kaylin was our chief fellow this year, so he was kind of like our punching bag whenever the schedule was wrong. He kind of did a head and neck fellowship with us, and he came from Indiana. He's going back to Indiana to do to become a faculty, an academic faculty there. So just a quick note about Kaylin. Whenever he finds something interesting, he looks up, you know, the literature, and so it's always great when the fellow's teaching new stuff. So next, we have Kelly Dahlstrom. Kelly came to us from Kansas, University of Kansas, and she's also going back to University of Kansas to start an academic career. She was going to be here tonight, but had a tire blowout. But that's her and her cute new baby. Kelly is an outstanding radiologist, and it's easy for me to staff her because she words her reports exactly like me. So it's like very simple to look at her reports. Next, we have Peter Hinckley. Y'all might recognize him from being a resident here. He is going to Idaho Falls to join a private practice there. The interesting thing about Peter, he's a very quiet guy. He just kind of, you know, gets there and does the work. I've never seen him eat anything. He's like on a permanent fast. But he may be a robot. And, if so, then, you know, AI is going to take our jobs. So that's Peter. So next, we have Soham. Soham is here tonight. So Soham also a resident here, so he's also got Stockholm syndrome. So, Soham, if you've ever worked with him, you know that he is a very jovial person. He brings a lot of levity to the reading room, which is always appreciated. The other thing is he's a clinician whisperer. He can just calm them down, make them not order the stuff that you don't want them to order. Get out my trick. Soham is going to be joining the faculty at Baylor University in Houston. And so I hope you keep the collaboration up with us. You're doing some very interesting stuff with gamification. Thanks for doing the fellowship here. And then last, we have Tyler Richards. He came to us from Cleveland, and he's going to be sticking around as a faculty. So, he's so we have to treat him well now. That's his wife. She's a neurologist, and no, we're glad to have him. He's an excellent radiologist. He's very interested in doing all the like advanced imaging stuff with us, so functional MRI, tractography, that kind of stuff. He's on vacation, so he's not here, and that's why I can badmouth him. But we've had some great fellows this year, and I can't wait to see what your careers hold. And hopefully y'all come back and give lectures and stuff. So thank you, guys.
I'm Miriam Roswani, I'm the abdominal imager. You're laughing already.
No, I'm into it.
Okay. Anyway, I was just gonna say we had a great year. The fellows joined us in the middle of the pandemic, which was, and they stood by our sides and jumped right in. It was as if there was nothing happening. So this was a great year for us. I also want to congratulate the graduating class on behalf of the section. We are glad that 2 are going to join us in just a few days, Adrian and April, and 4 are wonderfully joining us in our subspecialty. So we are super excited for all of you, and even the people who aren't going into body. You can go to the next slide, please. We already actually had our little graduation last weekend. Dr. Open was generous to host us in his home. We have Creighton Lewis, who is going to Idaho. Ahmed is going across the hall to medicine. Katie is going to Nevada, I think, and Chris to Washington State. And I again want to really congratulate them and thank them for a wonderful year. Thank you.
I was wondering if Michael would come. So it's a pleasure to be here representing the breast imaging section. We had 2 fellows. I like what Neuro does, so I'll name them our chief fellows. No one ever told them that they were chief fellows. So appreciate them knowing that, as with all of you, that the fellows come in and represent kind of the face of the department, the face to our referring clinicians. They're often on the phone first, the face to our tumor boards as they take the cases and share them, especially when it's been virtual. All they hear is that voice. They don't even know maybe or not whether or not faculty is nearby. And then they're also the face of that training aspect, which Nicole already highlighted. But they take on some primary responsibilities as new residents come in and sometimes medical students or surgical residents that come by. So I just want to really thank them. They came in and they stepped in and stepped up at a difficult time where our volumes were very low, and then we went over, the 120% for several months as people were catching up on some of the imaging that had fallen by during the pandemic. So I want to congratulate, first I'll talk about Sam. I want to share for each of them one thing that was helpful to us and a skill that I appreciated, and then something that they probably may not expect you to know about them, but you'll know. So Sam is Mr. Eloquence, is sort of how I think about him. He picks up the phone, and I like the term, clinician whisperer, because he definitely had just a way of words as he presented at tumor boards. It was just, silky smooth and did a great job. Whether or not necessarily I agreed with what he was saying, it really sounded good. And that's how everybody, they were not going to question what he said. Something that some people may not know about him is that he's a hummer. So in the reading room, if there's any phrase that comes up that might relate to a song, Christmas or otherwise, you just may start to hear that song as you're doing your work, and it's an interesting phenomenon. Our second fellow, Fam. I failed to mention, you saw it, or you probably saw it at the back. Sam came from us, that is heading to Lincoln, Nebraska. So it's a mere 14-hour drive if you want to go visit. All right, so he comes to us from Savannah, Georgia, and is staying with us, and that's actually a drawing because our new center is there to the left. It's being constructed. So we're excited to have Hui stay with us on faculty. Hui came to us sort of locked and loaded. He was a kind of a referral from one of our other fellows, and kind of came to us from a fellow that had a great experience here. We're glad he did, and referred Hui to us, came ready to go, just stepped right up, and he's a super efficient and just sort of a mind like a steel trap. You tell him something once and you're good to go. Something you may not know about him is he's very good at calculated risk. So if you would like to go to Las Vegas, he might be someone you might want to take along. Experience in these speculation games. So learned a lot from him and his interesting approach to finances, and I'll just leave it at that. So want to just thank both of them for doing a great job on breast imaging service.
It's, this year in the IR, we just had one graduating fellow, Momi Ajibola, senior in her swan song in our last call after she helped save some bleeding patient's life. For victory sign. She did approximately 900 procedures, participated in hundreds of consults and clinic visits, and she came to us from she was born in Nigeria, but grew up in Central Florida in Kissimmee, St. Cloud, and she came to us. She went to undergrad at UCF, medical school at New York Medical College, and she did her residency in ESIR in Long Island at North Shore LIJ. And one of the things that struck all of us early on, one of her great skills was, despite being in Utah, only showing her New York roots a few times. So more than can be said in some of our faculty. Anyway, so as I recently learned, Charles Darwin's saying was not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the most adaptable. And Momi not only had to deal with 7 different IR attendings with different expectations and ways of doing things, and did that beautifully. But she also had to do 4 external rotations, including PD, IR, vascular surgery over at the VA, which she's doing now, neuro IR, and spine intervention. And in all these situations, she was adaptable and universally liked. So she learned to love the outdoors of Utah and like hanging out with her friends. But you know, I hope that she likes taking call because she is the only fellow ever who owns both a Tesla and an Audi. Womi's going to Cincinnati, Ohio for private practice, and we wish her the best. And thanks for all your hard work, Womi. Back to that first picture, reminded of that last slide, of the view for victory as someone else is leaving their job.
Next, we're going to be moving on to a few awards, and we'll start with Dr. Quincer announcing the Raymond Thornton Award.
Dr. Karen Brown, Dr. Minishima, Nicole Winkler, and I wanted to honor our late and beloved colleague Raymond Thornton by creating an award in his memory to any trainee who exhibits some of the traits and characteristics that were intrinsic to Dr. Thornton. And these included his compassion to patients, collegiality, friendship towards all of us and towards everyone, and his love of both radiology and arts. As a little bit of background, Dr. Thornton went to the prestigious Juilliard School for his undergrad, and he received a DMA in piano. And I asked him, "What is DMA?" He said, "It doesn't mean anything." Google it. It's doctorate in musical arts. Anyway, and then he after that he went to the University of Pittsburgh for medical school. He did his training at UCSF. He spent the majority of his career at MSKCC with Dr. Karen Brown. And then he had this mysterious and complex illness, forcing him to take a little bit of a hiatus from clinical work. So he came to the University of Utah for like a mini fellowship, and he was so well liked and so needed that he stayed on his faculty, and he became really like a beloved colleague and mentor and friend to all of us. Sorry. One thing I guess about Ray is he had a nickname for everyone, and I guess when he had a inner city patient when he was in New York who he was taking care of, and they developed a great relationship, as anyone who knew Ray would, and they really got to like each other. And Ray told me this story a couple times that the patient called Ray his brother from another mother. He got such a kick out of that. I don't think he'd heard that phrase in the streets of Juilliard. Anyway, so then he was like my, I called him my sensei, sort of. He was into like mindfulness, whatever, and so I called him my Dr. Miyagi from Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid, and he would call me Q, my brother from another mother. Anyway, and so to figure out this award, we, as you all know, because you received an email, we solicited any nominations from a host of people, techs, nurses, support staff, physicians, other trainees, and we got a bunch of nominations, and this one stood out. So you guys can read it, I guess, but. Thanks. But anyway, you know, Ray to me was this goofy, lovable giant, and on the surface, Andreas is this goofy, lovable giant, but I do peel the layers back for both of them, and they're both just extremely compassionate and thoughtful people. So couldn't be happier to first annual award in Ray's honor.
Thank you.
Oh, and then It's so friend Andreas, so I could spy on him. So remind me of Ray.
Your friends, so you can unfriend them now. All right, so I'm presenting our Rankin Research Awards this year. So our fellow award winner is Dr. Nick Martinhouse. He's one of our musculoskeletal fellows. He couldn't be here tonight, but I'm still going to talk a little bit about his projects. He presented imaging and glenohumeral instability at the American Rankin Ray Society, and Judging a Bone by Its Cover, which is a radiologist's guide to periosteopathology, presented at the Skeletal Society. So some great MSK projects. We're really proud of Nick and his research contributions this year. We're sad he couldn't be here. Our resident winner for this year is Dr. Grace Liu.
Whoa.
Educational changes from COVID-19. Dr. Zhu created an open source digital education platform. It's pretty much been used by the global radiology community, and it's made a huge impact. And during residency, she published various topics, including rectal cancer MRI, enlarging hepatic and retroperitoneal myelolipomas, which is why I have notes, because I have to pronounce all of these, as well as pineal gland metastases from gastric carcinoid. So Grace also worked with co-residents and fellows Tessie Pham and Soham Banerjee and faculty mentor Bill Offerman, and completed a perception research project. She recently presented at SIM. And thanks to her grant funding, we all continue to enjoy the ergonomic improvements to the meeting rooms. So thank you and congratulations, Grace. You just get a hug, no, sorry. Aren't you guys sad that you didn't win that award? Just real briefly, I wanted to recognize those residents who completed our inaugural QI course this year. This is our R3 class. They did a great job in identifying areas for improvement within the department, creating projects and carrying out this work, and we've really advanced the quality of care of our patients. I also have to thank all of our faculty mentors who participated in this program, as well as the leaders of the course who really helped advance our quality improvement education within our residency program. It's really a vital part of our future as well as our profession, and so we appreciate all of our hard work that's gone into it. You can see their projects listed here, but we just wanted to say congratulations to all of them in completing this course. Next is Dr. Davidson with some VA awards. I'll turn it over.
I would like to acknowledge our graduating, 7 residents. I have a little token for you. You don't have to come up and get it now, but make sure you come and get it at the end. This is in recognition of 4 years of very hard work, and it's got a little mountain scene to remind you if you're ever you find yourself outside of Utah, this is where your heart is, where professionals you are. So come up and get these, or for the 7 of you. And I will also maybe just take 1 minute to acknowledge all of the people who have contributed to the VA and the care of veterans. The residents who have spent 4 years, I calculated well over 2,000 hours probably or more during your tenure. But in the last year especially, we've had fellows and all of the residents, faculty going out of their way to really help with the VA. In the last year especially, between the pandemic and the VA's bureaucratic identity crisis, there's a lot of things to work through, and our residents and fellows and staff have not skipped a beat, sacrificed a lot. The department has gone out of its way to really put things on the line and put patients first. We say that a lot, put patients first, but this department, the doctors here have truly done that. And on behalf of the VA, I thank all of you. So congratulations.
All right, next we're pleased to announce some faculty teaching awards for this year. We want to start out with the faculty presenter awards. So this award comes from, we do resident evaluations of every lecture that we receive, and we receive many lectures a week. And these.
A lot of evaluations.
So many. These attendings had the highest evaluations on lectures they gave us this year. And they both use very innovative teaching techniques and help keep everyone engaged. And their passion for radiology and their passion for teaching really shows, and all the residents are very grateful for them. And our winners are Dr. Haley Allen and Dr. Jeffrey Prince.
Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Prince, I believe, is here. You want to come up for the award? Yeah. And then Dr. Allen unfortunately couldn't be here, but she is attending on Zoom. And we'll deliver her plaque.
Give her an email.
So next up is faculty of the year, I believe, correct? So this attending, this was voted on by the residents, is how this award is decided. This attending is like a total pleasure to work with in the room every day. They have a very infectious laugh. It's probably my favorite part about them. But more than having fun, they prioritize in the reading room every day teaching. It's they make it the priority of their day every day. And that's something that I think all the residents feel. So without further ado, the winner of the Teacher of the Year is Brian Chan. Thanks, Brian.
Now I want to hear it.
Oh yeah, so then the next award is the Fellow of the Year. You know, as residents, sometimes we have fellows who are from Utah who we already know, and sometimes we get fellows from other programs, and we only get to meet them for 1 year, but they still do their best to make a big impression on us. This fellow, you know, is only here for 1 year, but we really appreciated their attitude, their calmness in the reading room, their willingness to teach. And my favorite thing about this fellow, or what I'll always remember about them, is they updated my lexicon for radiology into 2021. DWI is no longer called DWI, it's called the D-dubs. Subsegmental PEs are not called subsegmental PEs, they're called subsegs. So hopefully you all know what I'm talking about. Congratulations, Chris Hartnett. Okay, looks like he had a last minute cancellation, so we'll give him his award later as well.
So our final teaching award is also voted on by the residents, and this award goes to the section that gave the best lectures to the residents. This section is always has, you know, very interactive lectures for everybody, and in and out of the reading room, they are very focused on resident education. And for the second year in a row, I am pleased to announce the MSK section as our
We're gonna force Megan to accept it on behalf, even though. So last, or not last, but next up is we're just gonna talk about each of the resident graduates. So we're gonna invite up our program directors to talk about them.
All right, so as the residents know, I love board games. And so I'm going to subject you all to a board game this evening. We usually play things like Family Feud or, you know, Pictionary or Bingo. But tonight it is Guess Who. So you're in for a real treat. So for those of you who don't know how you play Guess Who, I'm going to share some tidbits with the residents about you, and you are going to guess who. Okay, very good. So let's get started. Just an introduction to how the game works. Do I need to cue the next slide, or you got it? Oh, look at that.
Matthew's got it.
Yes, okay. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about about what makes them a great radiologist, we gathered some kudos from faculty and coworkers, and then we have some stories. Some of them are about work and some of them not so much. So we'll go ahead and kick this off. So for our first residents, what makes them a great radiologist is that they are very even keel. They have an unflappability and they're described as calm as a cucumber. They also have a keen eye and ability to make tough diagnoses. So they received kudos. Very good. Good job, Matthew. For their amazing sense of humor and dry wit, they're also very thoughtful and well-read and have been described as chaos-free. So some fun stories about this resident. One of their co-residents said they were there for them when they had to do their very first LP on call. They said they were absolutely terrified, but it was really reassuring knowing this resident was there. And this person has been likened to a ninja, and as soon as I read this, I couldn't agree more. Somehow all of the work gets done, you just never see them doing it. And their secret, or maybe not so secret, love of all things NFL football, certainly not a secret now. Really, they love fantasy football, watching games live in the reading room. They know everything about NFL football. And if you haven't guessed it, this is Adrian Begay.
To talk about some of Adrian's accomplishments during residency. He is known to be a great asset in the reading room. He works very hard. He's no nonsense, no drama, just gets work done. During his time with us, he served on the student advisory committee. He also gave our department a presentation on SARS-CoV-2, given his background in epidemiology of SARS research. And he is considered a strong, highly competent resident and will be staying here for a Donald Aging Fellowship. Congratulations, Dr. Begay.
Probably is here.
He might be.
All right, next, this is what makes this resident a great radiologist. They have a positive attitude even when things are a little bit chaotic. They always have a willingness to grow and learn, and they really embrace the uncertainty. Instead of shying away from challenges, they really step up to them. They receive kudos for being kind and gentle and thoughtful. They always inspire others to be healthier. I'll use a little bit of that. They're always a consummate team player, willing to help people out. So some fun memories about this resident. They actually showed up so late to resident parties that everyone else had left. But as the co-residents are so close, the host cooked them dinner and they stayed and ate together. They also brought some raw Brussels sprouts to noon conference for lunch, which sounds healthy but interesting. And the extremely large water bottle, I think pretty much says it all. If you haven't seen it before, this is 100% Michael Weintraub.
Michael has worked very hard during residency, learning all of the content of radiology and all the nuances. And he's also found time for scholarly activity. And he, a poster was selected for radiographics on avulsion injuries of the hands and wrists, which he published along with MSK faculty, including our own Dr. Mills right here. He also presented interesting cases at the Imaging Elevated Conference 2 years in a row and published a case report on disseminated pyelonephritis in diabetic patients. He's always willing to help. He's a super easy resident to have. He's never complained once and gets his stuff done. And he is going on to UCSF for an abdominal imaging fellowship. Congratulations, Dr. Weintraub.
Right, next up, what makes this resident a great radiologist is that they are a quiet dictator, a list slayer, and a speed demon. And if you're not a radiologist, I promise these are all positive things. They seem to always fall on the hard case sword, and they really are not afraid to take risks. And truly, I can attest to this. No one has more fun.
That's only one person.
So a couple of great stories about this resident that you might not know. During their first year, this resident could not stay awake. In fact, faculty used to kick them under the table as they were giving lectures to try and keep them awake. There were many cat cameos that we saw this year. Pretty much every time we had a Zoom meeting or some sort of other interaction, there was a cat. And unlike Dr. Weintraub, this resident is always early. So early, in fact, they showed up to a resident party a day early. This is Dr. Matt Curtis.
So Matthew has been a joy to have as a chief resident. He has worked incredibly diligently. He's not done 1 year, but 2 years worth of residence schedules, which is a big undertaking for 28 to 31 residents, and keeping everyone happy about post-call days and what rotation they're on, all kinds of things that he's maneuvered. He's shown that he can be incredibly highly collegial during those challenging intermediary things that happen between faculty and residents. He's navigated those very well. And he's always taken care of things in a very timely and thoughtful way. I know when I email him, he's just going to email me right back and get it done. So he's a joy for us. He also has worked hard on devising a project on virtual reality distraction for breast biopsies and getting IRB approval in that, which was a big undertaking. And we're so excited that he's going to stay with us for a breast fellowship for the next year. Matthew, come up.
Oh.
The
slides.
Okay, we present this gift to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You may now go back.
All right, next we have a radiologist who's willing to take on anything and has been described as having calm competence and reliability. They got kudos, doubly kudos for being calm, diligent and delightful. They really get everything that they can out of every opportunity. And they've been described as literally, quote, the nicest person in the world.
We might say that about another one.
Yeah. So this resident showed up post-call to the Christmas scavenger hunt, despite being on overnights and being on the next night as well. Now that is some commitment to scavenger hunts, very impressive.
Yeah.
They've also made a really tough transition from a different residency program and showed some awesome adaptability. White shirt, black tie is the dress for success. I know who's wearing it tonight.
So as everyone knows, Christian transferred from his residency that closed at the beginning of his R3 year. And so coming into a new residency after 2 years of training, I'm sure was very difficult, but he just hit the ground running and has just become part of our family pretty much immediately, and was so thrilled that he came. I'm so happy that that worked out so well. And so he's done so much to volunteer to help his classmates. He's a wonderful person to talk to on the phone as far as clinicians and getting things done. During his time with us, he's taught medical students chest radiography. He's also taught co-residents about his passion, which is pediatric radiology, and he'll be going to Boston Children's for pediatric radiology. Congratulations.
What's next?
Thank you.
All right, our next resident is always educating those around them. They're a fantastic communicator and are definitely decisive. They've gotten kudos for always advocating for others, having amazing fashion. And with that fashion is a can-do attitude, goes with every pair of shoes. Some fun memories about this resident. They once had a heated debate via Zoom with Batman Steve. That night at White Horse was brought up, which I'm sure we'll all hear about soon. They also shared drinks with new friends at ARP, and then they all got sick. Dr. April Griffith, congratulations.
Proud of April. She's our other chief president who has done an incredible job of being a very positive force and being a mentor to senior residents. She's really advocated for residents and reached out to junior residents trying to build that camaraderie. She's also been very active in the education realm and founded a interdisciplinary clinical conference series and presented GI content to the emergency radiology and internal medicine departments. She's also done my grant writing course and credited Dr. New with a lot of mentorship. She's presented several poster presentations, and she had a journal publication on the effect of COVID-19 pandemic on CT scans ordered in the emergency department for abdominal complaints with the faculty mentorship of Dr. Siobhan. She excels as a communicator and as a teacher, and we're incredibly proud of her, and her passion and enthusiasm are infectious. She'll be staying here for a body imaging fellowship. Congratulations.
All right, our next resident has been described as innovative, creative, and forward-thinking, who always puts excellent patient care first. They developed a radiology education platform, if you haven't heard that already tonight. And they've got kudos for having a can-do, go-get-em attitude. They seem to have endless energy, and they are always building up people around them. So some fun memories about this resident. They watched lectures with other co-residents and learned bro radiology lingo, so I'm excited to learn some of that later. They also set the diligence record for sending the highest number of correspondences to Terry, our admin, before even starting residency. But Stacy will tell you that all of their stuff is done on time, so that's a win. This resident honestly brings a little bit of joy as they make their rounds to say hello and goodbye to everyone in the department. So I hope I get my goodbye before she goes tonight. Dr. Grace, too. Congratulations.
Grace has been an incredibly engaged resident since the beginning. She's taken so many opportunities and actively engaging in committees, scholarly activity. Her RAD Discord server is the first international online radiology community that promotes studying for radiology students as opposed to complaining and gossiping. So we're really proud of that, and along with faculty-led board reviews, and that server has allowed many residents to study for the core exam. Dr. Mills already talked about all of her research accomplishments, which are really impressive. Beyond that, she also developed co-developed a radiology portion of the advanced internal medicine course with Dr. Olpen, teaching our own medical students about chest radiography and probably some additional things as well. And then she was selected for the Radiology Leadership Institute Summit Scholarship in 2020 and selected for the scholarship to attend the 2020 AUR Research Scholar Symposium. So she has also done all of this while also becoming a highly competent resident and now a radiologist. She will be pursuing an abdominal radiology fellowship at Mellon Cross Institute of Radiology. Congratulations. Well, there's only one person left.
And that's it. Thanks. No. All right, last but not least, this is a great radiologist because they are efficient, affable, and accurate. They have high contextual knowledge and perfect dictations. Wow. They have some excellent dedication to patient care, and they exude positivity. This is literally the second person, nicest person in the world besides Sam Brand. So we got some contests to figure out later this evening. They're always willing to support a colleague, which is definitely true. Some fun memories from residents. This person is a connoisseur of sweet soda and also knows the best cookies in town. And one story about this resident is the faculty was doing a procedure with them one time and they forgot to inject lidocaine. So right before they went to stick a needle in the patient, they had to kick them under the table. I don't kick the residents that often. But I remember it so vividly because I think it's the only time I've actually added anything to what Tyler's done. So congratulations, Tyler.
Tyler has excelled in every way as a resident. He went through the department grant writing course and he received a highly competitive RSNA grant, which awarded him 6 months worth of research time for his project on radioprotective agents to reduce DNA damage caused by ionizing radiation. He also published several first author journal articles related to interventional radiology topics, including best practice guidelines, imaging surveillance after endovascular aneurysm repair and AJR, and radiation effects and protection for technologists and other healthcare professionals, both under the faculty supervision of Dr. Quincer. And he's also had 6 podium presentations on various topics related to interventional radiology. Needless to say, he's been prolific during his time with us and he's excelled in every way. And his chosen fellowship is IR, surprisingly, and he'll be staying here. We're thrilled.
All right, I think we're gonna take a brief pause, maybe have some dinner. Oh, that's okay with people? Yeah, and then maybe we can get restarted here in a few minutes. Okay?
There's probably only maybe 10 minutes left.
Or 20 or 30. Depends on how long
Or
we're
April's gonna come talk to us, I think, so. I think we should take a break for dinner and then we'll get back to it.
So we just want to really quickly interrupt, and we had a late attendance from someone, and we wanted to force them to come up in front of everyone to accept the reward. So once again, our fellow of the year, Chris Hartman, please come up. Sorry.
Sorry I'm late, everybody.
Just in time for food.
That's right.
So next up is going to be our chief residents. They're going to give some remarks. Before we let them speak, we actually wanted to surprise them with a gift from all the residents. So many nice things have already been said about them. Hard to follow that up. Matthew probably remade the schedule 9,000 times this year, with the boards getting rescheduled 4 times or less, I can't remember. And then with COVID also causing tons of schedule shifts. Can't thank them enough. April just always being there for us as junior residents. And advocating for the residents, you know, dealing with attendings who think the residents never do any work. She advocates for us, and we really appreciate her and Matthew too. So this is from all the residents.
Thank you, guys.
Handshakes all around.
Two
hands.
Yeah, don't go anywhere, because now it's your turn to stand in front of everyone.
You first, Matthew.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight to celebrate all the graduates. It's honestly the work of a village. We couldn't have gotten here without the support of every individual, either our families, our co-residents, our faculty, our administrative staff. We couldn't have done this without everyone. So we want to just take the opportunity to thank a few special people that really helped us get through here. Again, the faculty. Oh wait, I'm supposed to thank the residents.
You can think who you want.
First of all, our co-residents. You've been in the trenches with us this whole time. Like, the VA wouldn't be the same without us, like, being able to, like, look across the room and be able to, like, goof around and share interesting cases. The nights wouldn't be the same without stepping through alongside a co-resident. So first of all, thank you very much to our co-residents for getting us through this.
As Matthew kind of gave a warning shot, we also wanted to thank the faculty. You know, this has been a particularly difficult year, and the faculty have really stepped up and been very innovative and creative and willing to make a lot of changes to kind of the status quo in order to get through COVID. And as resident representatives, we just wanted to say thank you for that. We really appreciate all of the hard work in education, hard work towards education and educational endeavors that goes into making us adequate radiology.
Next up is to 2 special administrative assistants who have really gone out of their way to make sure we get our hours logged on time, making sure that we filled in all of our evaluations, making sure we've done everything we need to stay at an accredited program and graduate. So Annie and Stacy, if you could come up, we just have some small gifts for you.
There's also cards.
Sorry, we are not as organized as you are normally, so
And
just a small thank you.
Definitely.
We couldn't have survived this year without you.
We also wanted to take a moment and really thank the department administration as a whole. Again, this has just been kind of a crazy year, and we really feel supported as residents, and Matthew and I in particular, kind of standing in for administration, feel very supportive. So thank you to the department leadership on behalf of the residents.
Lastly, we want to thank our program directors. We're lucky enough to be blessed with 4 amazing program directors who have been able to navigate, I guess, be the intermediaries between the faculty and the residents, being able to help us successfully become radiologists. And we couldn't have done it without their guidance. So we have some special gifts for Keith and Claire and Megan and Nicole. If you could come up, we have.
That one's Keith. This one's Claire's, and also this one is Claire because it's non-alcoholic. You can have one, maybe for later. For now. And that's all that we have from the residents. So thank you very much, everyone.
Andreas and Michael, thank you.
And you really like us, right? Right.
So we have a tradition at these graduation events to, the R2 class will make a video poking light fun at our graduating class and some select faculty. You're offended, please take it up with Ricky.
If people on the edges want to like move over, I don't know if you guys can see. We'll try to. Bear with us. We'll get it.
Oh, nice.
Great, good job. So who wants to take this next case? Hey, this is Tessie. I could take it. Awesome. Great, Tessie. You're an R4 now, right? I'm actually an R2. Oh gosh, you guys all run together. All right, Ricky, take it away.
Hey, this is Brian Chan, MSK attending, CHAN here at the U. And I'm just looking for someone to take a case, kind of a hard one. Maybe a brave first year or mediocre second year.
Yeah, this is Patrick. I'll take the case.
Yeah, that fits the bill. And remember, this is a safe space, but I will make fun of you. And I'm sarcastic.
Residents, it's time for case conference. Who's gonna take the first case?
Hey, this is Grace. Is there a case taking order for this?
You can call on someone you know. Just look at the names. You can call on someone.
I guess I'll take this case.
Nope, someone else gotta take it.
Hi, this is Grace. I can take this case. Actually, we had a great review of this on the Discord server last Sunday. Have you guys joined the Discord server yet? We've got so many new members, and we're actually doing a super awesome review session this upcoming Sunday. You guys should totally join.
Okay. Can someone take this case? We've gone over this multiple times. You guys need to have your cameras on when you're taking a case.
Hey, this is Adrian. I'm out running, but and I only did like 20 questions about this last night, but I can try and take it. Although my screen's really small, but you know, I'll just give it a shot. Hey guys, it's Nicole. I just wanted to make a couple announcements. One is that all boards tests in the future have been postponed indefinitely again. We'll find out more details later.
I'm gonna have to make the schedule again.
A second point of announcement is that some of the attendings, and I'll remind you, this is data that we've gathered from all the different sections, are concerned that many of our residents aren't owning the list. So just stew in that forever. Hey, this is Steve, R2, and I was just concerned about this thing that came up.
Steve, I just want you to know this isn't an appropriate time to be discussing this. No, Steve, it's not an appropriate time. And if you can voice these concerns, but this is not the forum. Hey, I'm sorry, Steve, but this is not the place or the time. We can set up a meeting with you if you want to discuss this further at a different time.
Okay. And remember, we don't really have any advice for how to own the list, but just own it. Megan, do you have anything that you want to say?
Nope.
Hi, this is Tyler in Radiology. How can I help?
Hey Tyler, I just need a protocol for an MR brain.
Oh yeah, I was just looking at this one. Probably brain 2 stroke.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, Tyler.
Hello, this is Michael Weintraub. Yeah, how can I help you? Sure. Actually, do you mind holding for 1 minute?
I was hoping to review a CT chest with someone.
Oh, hey, sorry. Chest is reading from California today.
Hey, are you still there? 1 second.
Hey, this is Tyler in Radiology. How can I help?
Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm one of the interns on the floor, and we're gonna need a stat esophagram for halitosis.
Oh, yeah. That seems indicated. Yeah, we can probably make that happen. It'll probably be like 10 or 15 minutes. Let me bang out a couple inpatient brain MRIs.
I know!
Hold on 1 more second. Yeah, now I could help you. Thank you for waiting.
Hi, this is Tyler with Radiology. How can I help?
Hey, this is the ED. We have a 32-year-old male with pelvic pain, so we need a stat pelvic ultrasound. We're really worried about ovarian torsion.
Ooh, yeah. Wow, I really haven't done one of those before, but I could probably make that happen. Yeah. Why don't you send him over with the chaperone in like maybe 10 minutes?
Are you coughing? Are you ill, Steve? God bless America.
I'm sorry.
Oh, strong word class. That was great. I like the Mary Razzani cameo. It was great. They asked me to give some closing remarks, and I just said nope. No. Before I get played off with music, I just wanted to say thanks to many people. So I have to say thanks to Michael and Andreas because they did a great job. Class was wonderful entertainment. It may seem like not a big deal, but having been there, done that, I'll tell you that hours went into that. So you guys did an awesome job. Thanks again to our department leadership for making it happen and always supporting our programs. I can tell you, we come with a lot of interesting asks and they almost always say yes, so we really appreciate the support. Thanks to our administrators and staff. We appreciate the beautiful venue and all of the behind the scenes work that go into something like this. I'll tell you, it takes countless hours, lots of Zoom meetings, especially when your program directors change their minds about 50 times the day before. So they pulled it off and it's been a wonderful event. They truly support not just this, but us throughout the whole year. So we are so grateful to everything that they do. Again, thank you to the faculty. I heard the phrase, it takes a village, and it's so true. There are not people I would rather have in my village. So thank you everyone for helping make our programs what they are and for helping to teach these wonderful trainees and sending them off into the world. And a big thank you to families, friends, and the supporting cast. So we know that a lot of effort goes into these residents and fellows and all the dedication that they put in, but we know that they couldn't do it without the support of all of the people around them. So big thank you to all of you. I know Sam Braden's wife excited to decorate the house and she can finally do it, so yes. But it is true, it's a long road and this is the end for many of you as you go off into your careers. And so a big thank you to all the family and friends who help support that role. And thanks everyone for coming in person and for joining us virtually to celebrate this wonderful event. We're really excited to see our trainees and their careers as they move to the next step in their lives. And we're so proud of all of them. And we thanks everyone for joining us. And we hope you have a fantastic rest of the evening. And thanks again for joining us.